With SAP BusinessObjects Design Studio, you can create desktop applications for planning business data. To create these planning applications, the following conditions must be met. You must be using Design Studio with BI Platform or SAP NetWeaver as a platform. You must be using a BW backend system as a planning system. You must be using a BW query or query view as the data source, which is defined as a planning query in the Bex Query Designer. And you must be using a desktop browser planning application. Planning functions are objects defined in the planning modeler of SAP NetWeaver BW that enable system-based processing and data generation. In this tutorial, we'll add a reevaluate planning function and then use other pre-configured buttons to execute the different planning functions in our application. Note that we already have two planning functions added to our application. Let's add another planning function. Note that the description shows this function reevaluates the plan data by 5%. We now have three planning functions with the following aliases: pfcopy, pfdelete, and pfrevaluate. Next, we'll review the on-click event scripts on the button components that execute these planning functions. By default, the data source is in display mode. The script for the Plan button sets it to Input Ready mode, enabling the user to manually edit data. The script for the Delete button copies filter values of common dimensions from the DS1 data source, and then executes the pfdelete planning function to delete the key figure values. The script for the Copy Initial Data button copies filter values of common dimensions from the DS1 data source, and then executes the pfcopy planning function to copy the key figure values. The script for the Reevaluate 5% button copies filter values of common dimensions from the DS1 data source, and then executes the pfrevaluate planning function to increase the key figure values by 5%. The client reset function rolls back the key figures to the last successfully recalculated state when the undo button is clicked. The reset function rolls back the key figures to the last saved server state when the reset button is clicked. The script for the Save button saves changed planning data back to the server. Now let's take a look at the planning functions in action. The buttons with the embedded scripts are displayed at the top of the application. To use these, we need to enable Input Ready mode. Note that we can now edit the key figures on the last three columns. Let's change the 2014 plan revenue value for 1-liter water bottles to 2,000 units. Note that the change is now reflected in the totals. Next, we'll increase the plan revenue value by 5%. Now let's delete all of the key figure values. We can also copy the initial data to our key figure values. And we can roll back the key figures to the last saved server state. Finally, let's save the current state to the server. We have successfully created a planning application using BW integrated planning functions. For more SAP Business Intelligence tutorials, visit sap.com/learnbi.